morning to everybody. I deem it a privilege and prestige to participate in this centenary celebrations of ACPR. I am grateful to the authorities of ACPR, Professor Jirali, Professor Perennial, Potidar, and all others for having invited me to participate in these centenary celebrations of ICPR. ICPR, as you all know, is here because of Gurudev R.D. Ranade. He established it, he started it, and it is 100 years old. Gurudev Ranade was a philosopher with a difference. He was not like all other philosophers. He was a philosopher with a difference. He was a philosopher of comparative philosophy and religion. Now, this is a very difficult task. I can master one system of philosophy and just talk on that. But to talk on comparative philosophy really needs long-standing study and experience. Gurudev Ranade was such a personality that he could speak on comparative philosophy. He was well versed both in Indian and Western philosophies. What is special about Ranade is his mastery of so many languages. He was a multilinguist. He knew Kannada, he knew Marathi, Hindi, Greek language also. He was a philosopher with a difference in the sense that he mastered comparative philosophy. If you want to know anything about Western philosophy, you can just easily go to Professor Ranade. Western philosophy, Eastern philosophy, yes, he was a master. He was a master of comparative religion also. See, each religion is an ocean. To master different religions, again, is not an easy task. He could speak with authority on Hinduism, on Islam, on Christianity, and all other religions, Buddhism, Jainism, and so on. So, he was a philosopher with a difference. He was not like the usual philosopher. Very great philosopher. And you know, he taught in Ferguson College, he taught in Deccan College, Pune. From there, his scholarship was recognized by Jha. He was the Vice Chancellor of Allahabad University, and he invited Professor Ranade to occupy the chair of philosophy and religion in Allahabad University. A person going from Belgaum, Pune to Allahabad and shining there for 26 years. He was there and he was respected by all. He was the head of the Department of Philosophy and he was the Vice Chancellor of Allahabad University also. This is a rare distinction a philosopher has. And our Professor Ranade has this title Gurudev. See, this is a very rare title. Gurudev is not only Guru but also Deva, Gurudeva. So, he has been the inspiration of crores of people all over the world, not only in Karnataka, not only in India, but all over the world. So I am happy to speak a few words about him and his inspiration from the Upanishads. So, He is a well-known philosopher saint. He was not only a philosopher but also a saint. See, there are two views on philosophy: spectator's outlook, participant's outlook. Many philosophers are just spectators. They teach this in the classroom, go home and forget. David Hume, a Western philosopher, see, by using logic, he proved that there is no matter, there is no soul, no God, like that. But during the lunchtime, he was taking food. Somebody asked him, you said there is no matter. You see, but you are taking something which is materialized. See, that is only in the classroom, but not here. So that's what he said. So the spectator's outlook and the participant's outlook, this difference, you see, we find. But our Ranade professor was participant's professor. He not only gained recognition all over the world for the interpretation of philosophy, comparative philosophy and religion, but he was himself a saint. He was a philosopher saint. He was an erudite scholar with encyclopedic learning. ಅವರು ತುಂಬ ದೊಡ್ಡ ವಿದ್ವಾಂಸರು. ಅವರ ಅವರ ವಿದ್ವತ್ತು ಅದನ್ನು ನಾನು ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಸದಳ, ಅದು ಅಷ್ಟು ಸುಲಭ ಹೇಳೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಆಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅನೇಕ ಭಾಷೆಗಳು ಬರ್ತಿದ್ವು ಅಂತ. ಗ್ರೀಕ್ ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪರಿಣಿತರು. ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ಎ ಮಲ್ಟಿಲಿಂಗ್ವಿಸ್ಟ್, ಹಾಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅನೇಕ ಭಾಷೆಗಳು ಬರ್ತಿದ್ವು. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಅವರು ಒರಿಜಿನಲ್ಸಿಗೆ ಹೋಗತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಅವಕಾಶವನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ಎ ಫಿಲಾಸಫರ್ ಸೈಂಟ್, erudite scholar with encyclopedic learning. He was a reservoir of spiritual experiences. This is very important. He was a reservoir of spiritual experiences. He laced his spiritual experiences with pathos and rare insights. He was a life page turner. He was a life page turner. The whole universe for him was God's beloved land. His motto was, as we all know, one God, one world and one humanity. Ranade's writings have always been inspiring and instructive. A devoted student of philosophy and religion as he was, there is in his writings a vivid analysis of intuitive truths of the Upanishads. My paper is on the perennial teachings of the Upanishads. Ranade on the perennial teachings of the Upanishads. He was very fond of the Upanishadic mantras, the Shanti mantras. Sarve sukinaha santu, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kashid dukkhavag bhagavet. See, this mantra says, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸುಖವಾಗಿರೋಣ, ಯಾರಿಗೂ ದುಃಖ ಬರೋದು ಬೇಡ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸುಖವಾಗಿರೋಣ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸುಖವಾಗಿರೋಣ. ಇದು ಬಹಳ ಉನ್ನತವಾದಂಥ ಧ್ಯೇಯ ಉಪನಿಷತ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ರಾನಡೆಯವರಿಗೆ ಬಹಳ ಪ್ರಿಯವಾದ ಮಂತ್ರವಾಗಿತ್ತು. As I told you, he served Allahabad University since 1928 and retired as its Vice Chancellor in 1940. Ranade's writings have always been inspiring and instructive. His style of writing is direct, attractive and lucid. It is a pleasure to read his works. The language is so simple, is so direct, that you are immediately attracted by that. Professor Ranades was a pure and pious life. He was a man of simplicity, natural grace and a very loving personality. Simple living, high thinking. That was his motto. Sarala Jivana, Ettarada Baduku. Ettarada Baduku. Simple living, high thinking. Man of natural grace and a very loving personality. It is very important. He spent all his life in deep meditation and contemplation. What made him a loving personality? His deep meditation and contemplation. Professor Sri Bahu Saheb Maharaj, the saint of Umadi, was the spiritual teacher of Ranade, the saint of Nimbargi, was his Paramaguru. The two great personalities were exemplars of conduct and attainment, his gurus and Paramaguru. They were personalities were exemplars of conduct and attainment. He loved them from the bottom of his heart. Professor Ranade has been recognized as an authority in the field of spirituality. In the field of spirituality. He says that purity of motive and virtuous conduct are the touchstones of our spiritual progress. What are the touchstones of spiritual progress? He says purity of motive and virtuous conduct. We should search our hearts to see how genuinely we are interested in spiritual life. And real spirituality consists in feeling God's presence in every being and every nook and corner of the universe. Now this is spirituality. What is spirituality? It is, feeling God's presence in every being and every nook and corner of the universe. Ranade was a life of remarkable value, and he was in spiritual communion with the divine. Now this is also very important. Why we respect Professor Ranade? Not just as an intellectual philosopher, but because he was in spiritual communion with the divine. Spiritual experience is continuous. It is not a stopgap arrangement. It is continuous. If it comes once in a while and leaves a person often, it is no spiritual experience. It should be continuous. It is another name. Spiritual experience is another name for intuitive experience or anubhava of God. Moral purity is a sine qua non of spiritual life. Moral quality is the basis of spiritual life. Professor Ranade was rational. You see, sometimes people think that if a person is spiritualistic, he could be non-rational. No, rationality and spirituality go together. Professor Ranade was a rational, undogmatic and non-superstitious. These are very important. For a spiritual man, not only communion with God is necessary, but he should be rational, he should be non-superstitious, undogmatic. Undogmatic. He had great respect and intellectual love for the Indian tradition. His was comparative approach, and he brought in and praised intuitive truths of West. For him, philosophy knows neither east nor west. It knows only horizon. We make Eastern philosophy, Western philosophy, this and that, African philosophy, this one. No, what he says? For him, philosophy knows neither east nor west. It knows only horizon. His his contribution to Upanishadic thought was the most original, brilliant and epoch-making. He devoted yes, a devoted student of philosophy and religion as he was. There is a vivid analysis, because he is a philosopher. There is a vivid analysis of intuitive truths in his writings. In his books, there is a scintillating study of the essence of the great revelations of the saints, philosophers, and seers of mankind. The Upanishads, as we all know, are the end portions of the Vedas. Therefore, they are called Vedanta. Veda means knowledge. Vedanta hence means the end of knowledge or highest knowledge. The Upanishads pay more attention to the knowledge part of the Vedas rather than to the ritualistic part, Karma Kanda. So Upanishads concentrate on the Gnana Kanda and not so much on the Karma Kanda. So, the Upanishadic seers turned inward and asked for themselves such questions as, who am I? Who am I? From whence I have come? Whither I am going? The Upanishadic seers found it to be the inner essence of every individual, and they named it as Atma or soul. The Upanishadic seers found it to be the inner essence of every individual, Antasattva of every individual, and they named it as Atman or soul. Atman is a non-physical principle. That is, it is a spiritual principle. Since it is non-physical, it is partless. It cannot be cut into pieces by any weapon. The famous shloka of the Bhagavad Gita. Nainam chindantri shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha. See, this is so it cannot be cut into pieces by any weapon. It cannot be burnt by fire. All physical things can be burnt by fire. But Atman cannot be burnt because it is non-physical. It has no parts. A thing has nasha, destruction, when it is made out of parts. There are no parts in Atman. It is akhanda. It is, in other words, avinashi, indestructible. It is not the body. It is not the body, not the sense organs, not the mind, not the intellect. Because all these are changing and destructible. Anything which changes is destructible. Atman never changes. But the mark of reality is that it is undivided and unchanging. The reality, in other words, is eternal, nitya. If there is any nitya reality, eternal reality, it is only self or Atma. It is, as we know, Atman is Sat Chit Ananda. Existence, knowledge and bliss. It is self-luminous. It shines in its own light. See? It is Swayam Jyoti. It is Swayam Jyoti. It shines in its own light. It is indubitable. It cannot be doubted. It is indubitable as it is the basis of all denial. Who denies? It is Atman. Atman itself cannot be denied. The existence of Atman itself cannot be denied because it is the very basis of denial. Thus it is self-certifying. Nobody can certify that there is Atma. It is self-certifying. Swatah Pramana. It is Swatah Pramana. And self-established. Swayam Siddha. It need not be established. It is already there. It is the purest principle. If there is anything purest, it is Atma. Sometimes some shops put a board. Here, pure ghee is available. No, no pure ghee because the only pure thing is Atma. The purest thing is Atma. It is unborn, Aja. It is unborn. and hence deathless, amara. It is free from evolution, all evolution. It does not undergo any change. It does not undergo any parinama. Like milk becoming curds, it is parinama. Atma never becomes anything because it is already there. There is no need to become. It is infinite. It is aparinami. It is ananta. In itself it is causeless. Nirhetuka. Everything has a cause. We go in search of causes. But what is the cause of Atma? No, this is not a good question. This is not a just question. It is nirhetuka. There is no hetu. There is no karana. It is not caused by something. It is established by itself. It is the basis of Jagrat, Swapna and Sushupti, the three states of experience. We all pass through these three states. Waking state. Now this is the waking state. We are all in waking state now. It is also walking state. So there is Swapna. You should get dreams. If we are not getting dreams, it means we are not healthy. Swapna and Sushupti, dreamless sleep. This is very important. So as long as there is Swapna, our sleep is going to be disturbed. If a tiger comes, we get disturbed. If a tiger comes in dream, or if somebody comes in dream, we get disturbed. But there is what is called dreamless sleep. No dreams. It is called Sushupti. Sushupti. So, it exists throughout. It is here, now in waking state. It is in the dream state. It is in Sushupti. It exists throughout. It is in all. It is all in all. It is all in all. Body is only an instrument. Body is only an instrument which is subject to change, decay and destruction. But Atman never changes. Atman is the only reality. Body is apparent. The only reality is Atma. Only reality is soul. The so-called body is apparent. It is now. You are not quite sure it will be in the very next moment. It is so unstable. Body is so unstable. So, it is apparent. The cogitation of the Vedic seers regarding the fundamental source of the universe resulted in the discovery of the principle of Brahman. See, the wonderful universe is surrounded. We are surrounded by the wonderful universe. Wonderful things are taking place. We become curious. Philosophy has its origin in curiosity, Aristotle says. So when we become curious about the surrounding world, see, we ask the questions. What is the source of this world, outside world? What is the source? Somebody said, Thales said, water is the source of the world. Because, in the world, 3/4 is full of water. So, you can be without sleep for a night, without food for 2 or 3 days, but you cannot be free from water. So, what some Thales, Greek philosopher, said, water is the source of the universe. Some other philosopher said, if water is the source of the universe, we can ask the question, what is the source of water? So, there is no end to this. So, some other Greek philosopher said, apeiron, something which cannot be named, something which has no rupa, no shape, that is the source of the universe. So, our Upanishadic seers wanted to know the secret of the universe, the source of the outside universe, and they named it Brahman. Now there is a question, what are these two things, Atman and Brahman? Are they one and the same, or are they different? The Upanishadic seers declare that they are not different, they are one and the same. The inner essence of man, that is Atma, is the same as the outer essence of the universe, the essence of the universe. So, the distinction between Brahman and Atman is ruled out by the Upanishads. This identity, they are identical. This identity of Brahman and Atman are conveyed by the Upanishads through what are called Mahavakyas. Upanishadnalli Mahavakyagalu ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗೆ ಅಹಂ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಾಸ್ಮಿ, ತತ್ವಮಸಿ, ಅಯಂ ಆತ್ಮ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ, ಪ್ರಜ್ಞಾನಂ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ. ಸರಿ, ಅಹಂ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಅಸ್ಮಿ, ಅಹಂ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಅಸ್ಮಿ, ನಾನು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮವೇ ಆಗಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ನಾನು ಅಂದರೆ ಆತ್ಮ, ನಾನು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮವೇ ಆಗಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಅಹಂ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಅಸ್ಮಿ, ಅಯಂ ಆತ್ಮ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ. ಎಸ್. ತತ್ವಮಸಿ, ತತ್ವಂ ಅಸಿ, ತ್ವಂ ನೀನು, ಅಸಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀಯಾ, ಏನಾಗಿದ್ದೀಯಾ, ಅದೇ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀಯಾ, ಅದೇ ಅಂದರೆ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ, ನೀನು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮವೇ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀಯಾ. ಸೊ there is one spiritual current flowing through the whole universe. Electric current is not different from countries to countries, isn't it? It is the same, whether it flows in India, flows in America, it flows in other countries, it is the same. So, there is one spiritual current flowing through the whole universe. Thus, humanity as a whole is one. Upanishads are pointing out. According to the Upanishads, the so-called matter has no independent existence of its own. The only independent existence is Atma, not the matter. And that is the only manifestation of the fundamental reality, namely Brahman or Atman. This is a unitary teaching of the Upanishads. Upanishads teach us that all humanity is one. All humanity is one. This is called unitary teaching, which is regarded as unique contribution to humanity at large. According to Professor Ranade, Upanishads contain not one system of philosophy, but systems of philosophy. Nevertheless, they culminate in the view of absolute reality. As a researcher of high order, Ranade finds many methodologies. Methodology is very important in research. What method we use in research. Our research, results of our research depend upon the methodology we use. He used many methods. Enigmatic method, aphoristic method, etymological method, mythical method, analogical method, dialectic method, and so on. So, Upanishads are many in number, about 108 Upanishads, about 10 Upanishads are considered to be very important. Isha, Kena, Katha, Mundaka, Mandukya, Aitareya, Taittiriya, Chandogya, Mahanarayana, like that. So it is a pleasure to read the Upanishads. There is music in them, there is analysis of thought in them, there is guidance to lead a spiritual life. So, our Professor Ranade was very much attracted by the Upanishads, a constructive survey of the Upanishads. That is book, Vedanta, the culmination of Upanishads. Another great book. So, I should conclude because others are there waiting. So, Ranade, Professor Ranade, Gurudeva Ranade, is so unique that his contemplation method, there is already a contemplation method in the Upanishads. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Shravana is hearing from the mouth of the teacher. I am Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. So it should come from the mouth of a teacher. Shravana, Manana, I should reflect over it. Is it okay? What Guru has said is okay? Is it okay? Is it okay? I should reflect. Then once I am convinced, I should do continued meditation. So the method of meditation our Professor Ranade has used finds its leanings, its roots in the Upanishads, and it is a pleasure to go through the writings, Ranade's writings of the Upanishads. It's really a pleasure. As a philosopher, Professor Ranade is intimate, fond and touching. And as a sadhaka, he was a great sadhaka, as you all know. He is sincere and sacrificing. He is the artist behind this short article. He is the artist behind this article. Thank you very much.